my mic was muted, and I already did that before, and I thought I was gonna have to refilm this whole thing all over again. Anyway, hello! Great start to a video, right? My name is Emery, and today I will be reviewing To Hold Up the Sky by Cixin Liu. In my previous video, my husband and I recommended books to each other. This is one that he recommended to me, and I have finished it! And now I'm here to talk about it with you because this was really, really good. This is the author of The Three-Body Problem. If you love sci-fi, that is the trilogy for you. Read it, get back to me, jump in my DMs to talk about that book, that trilogy. It's phenomenal. So we saw this at the bookstore a while ago, wanted to pick it up to read more short stories from him because his sci-fi writing is just engulfing, I feel like is a good word. It can get very, it's funny to say very science heavy in sci-fi, but do you get what I mean? Like, very someone who understands math and more, like, astrophysics things could probably pick up on a lot more than, like, I could probably pick up on a lot more. You know what I mean? Like, that. Anyway. This is very, very good. One of my favorite short stories was called Mirror. It was a long story, which is very funny to say in a short story, but long as in I was reading it before work and I was like, I'll probably finish this before I have to go. And then I looked at how many more pages and I was like, I'm gonna have to pick this up later. But basically, all of the world leaders with the UN are at some sort of gathering, and a classical music player. Wow, so sorry. I think this character is like modeled after a real person. He's a pianist. But they're listening to his music. They're at some event because they're gonna like shut down the UN, I think. Crazy times. They're looking up at the sky and they notice that, is it the US president or China? Someone is looking up at the sky really intently and like kind of talking to themselves. And then like other people kind of scoot over and they go, "What's up?" And he's like, "Well, the stars that are in the sky right now, like the constellations, we shouldn't be able to see due to where we are. We are seeing like the other side of Earth, how they would see the stars, basically." And everyone's like, "How do you know that?" Like, you know, whatever. Then they notice not only are they seeing an interesting constellation of stars that they probably shouldn't be seeing, but are they seeing like a blue dot that's like moving at them? What's that about? What's that blue dot? Does that blue dot have continents? What's going on with that? And they realize like a mirror has been somehow held up to Earth, and they're seeing this like intense reflection. Then things get wild when the mirror starts talking, and the mirror's like, "I'm a musician," and everyone's like, "Hold the phone, we gotta process that this is a mirror, and two, we need to process that you're a musician. What does that mean?" And the mirror starts talking about how they come from all over the universe, playing like the strings of the universe, and start playing them a song that they had prepared so many freaking years before. And thus begins the discussion of what does art mean to humanity, and what does art mean to the universe. And that theme comes up multiple times throughout the short stories, which I thought was really, really cool and very trippy to think about, because that question was brought up frequently. There was even a part, I think there were multiple parts where whatever like human is the main character talking to the alien about art, or talking to whatever about art, there's always someone else to go, "Who are you to say that you can understand alien art or universal art. And the way that that was just displayed and discussed, I thought was really, really cool, and made me very curious. So I've thought about, like, you know, art to humanity, and how do we define art? What does art mean to us? But I've never thought about, like, what does that then mean universally? Yeah, there's another one where, like, this ice orb comes down to Earth and is like, I'm an artist. I'm actually an ice sculptor, and this alien meets this other ice sculptress. And is that a word? Whatever. He meets homegirl, and she is talking about sculpting ice, and he's like, I can do you one better, and starts sucking up the oceans. And things get very detrimental very fast with this being sucking up the oceans in order to carve ice. That was very interesting. There was one, the very first one is called The Village Teacher. And in that one, we're in this remote village in China, and there's this gentleman who is the village teacher. No one in town really likes him because they think it's, like, pointless, his position and the effects it has on the village. But he's like, I'm going to teach these kids, they need to be educated. So he does, and he has a lot of flashbacks between his life, what got him to his teacher position, where he's living now, you know, things like that to build his character. Then we also get the perspective of this, like, alien war going on between silicon beings and carbon beings. And they have this, they're, like, you know, trying to claim as many planets as they can to, like, beat the other one. And they have this system of what classifies a planet as, like, hosting a civilization, and what category of civilization. And it was like, I think it was like, if you're below a 3, they're blowing the planet up. Like, they don't give a shit. Like, y'all suck. And the way that they do that is they don't, like, land on the planet and investigate. They do something where they get, like alien abduction things. Like, they just, like, take the beings from the planet, and then they ask them a series of questions. And if they answer those questions, they have to answer, I can't remember, I think it was at least 3 right. If you don't get the first 3, depending on how things go, you can get another 3 questions, and then if you get those ones right, that then classifies what level of civilization you are, and then they may or may not blow you up. So they find Earth, and they find the children of the village. They don't know their children, or, you know, any of our humanity. So they like, take, like, holograms of the children and begin asking the children these questions. In the first round of questions, the kids are just silent and confused as to where they are, because they're, like, hovering in, like, nothingness, basically. And then they're like, oh, maybe this being is, like, scared. So, like, they gave them, like, grass to stand on, but it was weird, and the kids knew it was weird. Well, then the next round of questions, I guess I'm just spoiling this for you because it was really interesting. I'm sorry. Well, the next round of questions, the kids answer it because it was lessons that their teacher strived so hard to teach them, and was, like, making sure that they memorized these things. So then they pass, and then they see that we're at an acceptable level of civilization. It's really interesting, because then later on, there's another short story where we are not considered a certain level of civilization. In fact, we were referred to as bugs. So that was interesting. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I love reading short stories. I love short story collections. I love anthologies. This was a great recommendation. Of course, I've read The 3 Body Problem, so I'm familiar with the way that this author writes, and I enjoy his writing. And yeah, also I forgot to say that the short stories in here were written between 1999, and I think there was one as early as I thought there was a 2021. Oh, 2017. This came out in 2020. Figured it out! But yeah, so that's my little mini excuse me, that's my little mini review. Sorry for spoiling the first story right when I started talking about it, but I just really wanted to tell you about it. Have you read this author? Are you interested in reading these short stories? Do you even like reading short stories? I don't know what's going on with my voice. It's springtime. The allergies are coming out. I'm so sorry. But do you enjoy reading short stories? Let me know down in the comments below. I will have linked the video where my husband is recommending me books and I'm recommending him books if you want to check that out. And yeah, thank you for subscribing, liking, and commenting. I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful day. And thank you so much for watching. Bye!